Welcome to Faith and Freedom. For the next few minutes, we hope to inform, inspire, and encourage you as we discuss legal victories and challenges to your fundamental freedom and religious liberties. Faith and Freedom comes to you from Liberty Counsel, a civil liberties education and legal defense organization. Join us now as Matt Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel, explains the latest legal issues all across this country. In the courtrooms of America, Liberty Counsel is winning the battle for your constitutional freedom.
Religious Freedom Day was celebrated in Florida with Bible distribution. I am Matt Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel. Joining me is Shawn Akers, the vice president of Middle Eastern Affairs for Liberty Counsel. Shawn, Religious Freedom Day was just a few days ago, and it was celebrated around the country. And it was a day to celebrate religious freedom for 2013. But religious freedom is really under attack. We want to talk about that, certainly, especially under this administration with Obamacare and many other things that are taking place. But in Orange County, Florida, right there in Central Florida, where Orlando is located, students in the Orange County schools were able to receive Bibles on Religious Freedom Day, and it was because of a case that Liberty Counsel had a number of years ago, well, not too long ago, in Florida, that opened the door for this other school district.
You know, Matt, won't draw any conclusions about the fact that Liberty Counsel happens to be in Florida, and Florida tends to use some common sense occasionally. It's great to have Liberty Counsel fighting these fights. Religion has never been under attack the way that it is now, the Judeo-Christian religion, particularly in the United States. The fact that we even have to have the discussion, though, is so revealing. You know, the founders of the United States, if you stopped and asked them, and we know this because they used federal funds to print Bibles. Even Jefferson, those that were among the most secular that the secular left can point at, used federal funds to print Bibles to provide to people. They didn't attack the Judeo-Christian religion. They said this is the source and basis of our self-governance. This is the reason that we can exist under a 4-page document. But now we have to have these discussions, and you have to have incredibly strong groups like Liberty Counsel who will go in and fight these fights to preserve and hopefully turn the tide back to common sense on religious liberties. Well,
this particular opportunity to distribute or actually receive Bibles on Religious Freedom Day in this school district, and that's others as well, goes all the way back to 2009, where Collier County, which is Naples, Florida, it's on the southwestern side of or part of the state of Florida. Collier County officials there banned the Bible distribution of an organization called World Changers. They claimed that Bibles do not provide any educational benefit to the students, and therefore they also violate the so-called separation of church and state. Well, World Changers had been giving out these Bibles on Religious Freedom Day for a while, and what they did was they would ask for a table, and on that table would be the Bibles that would be available, and students could come and get those Bibles. And the school banned it. Liberty Counsel then filed a lawsuit against the Collier County School District, and we won that case. And as a result, they've been able to distribute the Bibles on Religious Freedom Day again in Collier County. But also, now in Orange County, in other counties as well, we've notified them of that particular decision, and World Changers has done the same thing. They've gone there, and they've asked for a table to be put up on Religious Freedom Day. And that's what they did in Orange County, Florida, and the students were able to get Bibles on Religious Freedom Day. So I think the point is that we've got to fight for our religious freedom. It's an unalienable right that the Constitution recognizes in the First Amendment. It doesn't grant us the right. It recognizes that it is from God, and government can't infringe on that right because it is inalienable. But government oftentimes does infringe on it, and we have to constantly fight to make sure that it is not infringed and that we can exercise our religious freedom.
You know, we really need to understand, we need to have a very mature view of what inalienable means. Because it doesn't mean that someone can't separate you from that right. It means they can't do it legitimately.
Right.
You know, if you want to talk about the separation of church and state, there are violations of the separation of church and state, as Jefferson actually meant it when he talked to the Danbury Baptists, because the government is violating that every single time it infringes on our rights to practice our religion in any venue that we choose to do so. In most of these cases, the school cases, I think, Matt, are probably the most aggressive and the most wrong, because you're talking about largely groups of people who are not government employees, So even if the left were right, in this particular case, that's not the school providing Bibles. This is
right. It's just an individual group that's providing Bibles, and they're not forcing it onto the students. In fact, in these schools, you have these opportunities for the Boy Scouts and others to have tables of information, and they can, at different times during the year, set up these tables, and students can come and get information. To ban only the Bible distribution in that manner is unconstitutional. It doesn't protect the Constitution. It actually violates the very constitutional freedoms and freedom of religion being celebrated on Religious Freedom Day. How ironic that originally on Religious Freedom Day, you didn't have the freedom to pass out the Bible from a table where students who willingly want to accept it can go get one.
That really does punctuate this point, that on Religious Freedom Day is when we're denying a group world changers from handing out Bibles. And to punctuate this, Matt, think about this. You just said it, but let's recap it for our listeners. In essence, what is being argued is that anyone who wanted to hand out literature, Boy Scouts or anybody else who had content that the state agreed with or condoned, that's fine. But if you happen to want to you're an equal group to those, but you want to hand out material that has religious content, all of a sudden the bars go up and you're not allowed to do it. Now it's viewpoint discrimination, it's content discrimination, and it's unconstitutional.
Yeah, no question about it. Well, the good news is that they were able to hand out Bibles on Religious Freedom Day. But it is also ironic that we're celebrating Religious Freedom Day, or we did just a little while ago, Religious Freedom Day 2013, during a year when religious freedom is at an all-time clash with the federal government through this Obamacare mandate. January 1, we saw the media sources cover the Hobby Lobby situation, and that's because their insurance had to be renewed on January 1, and consequently, that meant that they would have to have this mandate of abortion. And they said no. It's an unprecedented situation where the federal government says you have to fund abortion, whether you like it or not. Doesn't matter whether it collides with your religious freedom. And if you don't, we're going to fine you so excessively. In Hobby Lobby's case, they said it was $1.3 million a day, that you'll ultimately collapse. So either you choose between doing business and violating your religious freedom, or the other, and there's no compromise in between. That's unprecedented that we have that kind of clash, and it's all because of this administration, this President Obama, and Obamacare.
This is one of the first times in our history, Matt, that we've been placed in a situation where the government is increasingly, on a variety, especially of social issues, setting up mechanisms like that basically say you will, as the American people, as private citizens, you will affirm the administration's view of a social issue, whether you like it or not. Now, you may have some limited speech rights. We're going to limit those as much as we can. But in function, you might say something against abortion, but you're going to fund it under Obamacare.
Yeah. And it's not just for employers. If you have an insurance policy from an employer and that insurance policy covers abortion of any one of the many employees that it covers, then you as an individual also have to pay $1 per month separate from your premiums. So you're paying your premiums. You also have to pay $1 per month. Every single employee that's covered, even though you don't access abortion, but if the plan offers abortion coverage, then every single individual has to pay, in addition to your premiums, $1 per month that goes toward a specific fund to cover abortion. Now, you say, well, I'll just opt out of my insurance and I'll go get one of the exchanges if there is one that's available. But you're not going to be able to choose which one doesn't cover abortion. Why? Because you don't know what it covers until you signed up and you've paid your premium. Then they'll tell you what it covers. It's like going to buy car insurance. You say, well, what does it cover? I want to know whether I want this plan or this plan. And they'll say, well, we can't tell you. You have to sign up, pay your premium, and then we'll give you the details of what it covers. They did this in Obamacare so that you couldn't pick and choose and weed out those exchanges whenever they are created that don't cover abortion. This is a bloodthirsty administration, and you can see it in Obamacare. It is an unprecedented clash with religious freedom. Join Liberty Counsel in your prayers and your financial support as we continue to battle against Obamacare. I'll be arguing the Obamacare case of Liberty University versus Geithner during the week of May 14 and 15, that week right in that time frame. And the decision should come out later this year. Continue to stand with Liberty Counsel as we advance life, liberty, and family. Go to Liberty Counsel's website, lc.org. Order the book, Take Back America, plus many other resources that we have available as well. We have a brand new book by Dr. Judith Reisman called Stolen Honor. It's a book that you'll want to get. Go to lc.org, sign up for the Liberty Alert and the Liberator newsletter. Join us in prayer and financial support.
You have been listening to Faith and Freedom with Liberty Counsel. We hope that we have motivated you to stand up for your faith, family, and freedom. We can accomplish a lot when we work together. Get informed and get involved today. Sign up for our free monthly newsletter, The Liberator. We will send it out to you free of charge. Stay informed with our Liberty Alert email updates. Just click on the website at www.lc.org or call us at 1-800-671-1776. Tune in next time to learn more about your rights right here on Faith and Freedom.